Jerusalem College of Engineering, an autonomous institution located in the heart of Chennai city, the best engineering college in Chennai, NAC A grade accredited and NBA accredited institution, counseling code 1307. Join at JCE to equip and explore to be industry ready.
From the data set what I fed in first, okay, what I fed in first. So I've sorted it accordingly from the highest confirmed cases to the lowest confirmed cases. So US, Spain, Italy and India. So it is the top 20. I'm just weighing it out. Now we are showing you the top 20 countries which has the most confirmed cases. This is when you have a visualization like with numbers and data, it is difficult for us to understand. So that is what Python is very strong in giving us a very good visualization. When you see this visualization, you can see how far US is affected more in comparison with Spain and how the graph. So graph visualization is very important. Okay, even when we teach students using visual learning, they have a highest impact. Okay, they have the highest impact than what we do our rote level of teaching, right? Only with talk and talk and other things. When we make them to visualize and teach this.
It's my great privilege and honor to introduce the resource person, Dr. D. Doreen Hepzibah Miriam. She is an alumna of Jerusalem College of Engineering, graduated in the year 2004. Completed her ME in Sri Venkateswara College of Engineering and PhD in Anna University, Chennai. She started her career as lecturer in the year 2006 in SSN College of Engineering. Then she moved to Anna University for full-time research scholar, where she worked as teaching research fellowship. Then she worked after completing her PhD. She worked as the assistant professor, the associate professor in Department of Computers and Engineering of Sri Venkateswara College of Engineering. Then she moved to Loyola Icahn College of Engineering Technology, where she worked as professor and head until 2017. Then she resigned her job and started her own research foundation in the name of Computational Intelligence Research Foundation at Chennai to encourage research scholars and spreading the technical awareness to the young students and faculty members. He is successful in training students and faculty members in the area of big data analytics, IoT, cloud computing, data analysis, Python, etc. Today, I'm delighted to have Dr. Doreen Robin on midst. Madam is going to take this session, and we thought of giving something during this lockdown period. So we worked a lot for this output. We have taken the data set from WHO and worked this data analysis and visualization. So hope we are going to get an interactive session and informative session. So I encourage everyone to be in the online and keep your mic in mute and video and on switch on mode, and don't present your screen. It will disturb others, other participants to view what the resource person is present. Over to Dr. Doreen Robin.
Morning to all. Hope you could hear me. So now we are going to start off with the session. All right. There are many participants, and you'll be seeing Associate Dean. Okay, there will be two Associate Dean. One wherein you can see my video, and on to the other, you'll be seeing my screen. Okay, even the YouTube faculty, for those who are watching through YouTube, also can view my screen, what am I presenting. All right. As the number of participants are more, okay, as the number of participants are more, kindly can I request Raji P.G to stop presenting it so that I could resume my presentation. Can you all hear me? Good morning to one and all. Can you hear me now? Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'll share the YouTube new link because the old link had some buffering issues. So we have created a new link for the YouTube viewers wherein they'll be able to listen and view, but the screen sharing facility will not be given to them. Okay, the screen sharing facility will not be given to them. Now we'll start off with a session. We are going to have, we are going to do the analysis and the visualization of COVID-19 dataset using Python. As Sir has introduced, I'm Dr. Doreen Robin, the founder and director of Computational Intelligence Research Foundation. All right, and so this company is started in the year 2017. Okay, and here we started this. I had been working in engineering colleges for a decade. I had been working in Anna University, SPC, and Loyola Ecam College of Engineering and Technology. So then I started this company. The main objective of this to start this company is to focus on research. Okay, if I know most of you are from engineering colleges. I know most of you are from engineering college background. All right. So as if you go and make a student to join in a medical college, okay, if you make a student to go and join in a medical college, at the end of their course, we strongly believe they are doctors and we'll be going to them for treatment, right? For any of our sicknesses. So I was thinking about it for a long time. We say we are creating many engineering students, right? We create many engineering students. By the end of the final years, we could accept that most of them, if say for example, if they're computer science engineer, whatever engineer, they're not able to accomplish a simple coding on their own. So we give them a lot of syllabus for 8 semesters, lot of theory, a lot of exams, but at the end, they're like tailor-made engineers. But when they go into the field, when we speak and meet with companies, people generally say we need to give them training. Then the big question that arose in my mind was, why do they need training? Which means there is some lacking in our 4 years of syllabus, what you have done. Only we could handpick a few students to be able to do good, and most bigger percentage of students are not able to do good. Then this was running in my mind, and we started this company where here we work with the research projects. Okay, we train people on the latest technology, and we work for companies. We work for projects for corporates. Okay, and we train UG students, PG students on the latest technology and whatever is their interest. And research scholars come to our company and we train them and they develop the projects for their own thesis, right? So we're getting the problem definition, researching around what could be the solution to be given. So this is the objective of our company. And we mainly do lots of digital classroom training for the faculties. You know, as we are in lockdown, okay, I could say by the grace of God, I was able to train more than 400 faculties during this lockdown period, how to handle classes through online. Okay. So in this today's session, we'll be seeing about the packages that are needed for data analysis and visualization. NumPy, which is called as numerical Python, SciPy, which is called as scientific Python, Pandas, which is Python for data analysis. All right, and next is Matplotlib, the Seaborn, data analysis of COVID-19 datasets, and data visualization of COVID-19 dataset. All right, so we are going to see, basically, we are going to see about how to do an analysis of data, how to do a visualization of data. And we see visualization is more important. We know we are working for engineering colleges, and we have got set of faculties with us, right? We have set of faculties. We have got, like, we work for 25 years old institution, right? And we work for different institutions, right? And at the last, still we were able to find that when a student comes for an admission, basically they see the pass percentage of students. Okay, the second thing, how many students are placed. So these are the parameters that they see. Also, visualization of data is more important. Say for example, if you go to a hospital, okay, say for example, there is a department called the cardiology department, and there are 20 doctors, and if the hospital is giving you a choice to choose any one of the doctor of your choice, if you have a visualization of the 20 doctors, how many people they've treated, how many people they've survived, okay, how many was the death rate of the doctor, so it will be easy for us to handpick which doctor will be able to go and choose. Because when you go for cardiologist, it is like you're going in urgency. We cannot choose randomly which doctor to choose. All right. So it's very important for us to do data visualization. So today we know because of COVID-19, okay, throughout the world there's a pandemic and people are thinking what is to be done, what is not to be done. So using Python today, we have done a kind of research analysis of how it could be done and how it could be done. All right. And now, so we'll be seeing about NumPy. Okay. NumPy is a package. Okay, where a lot of a lot of scientific applications can be done. Okay, and here using this packages, we'll be using this packages are basically for data scientists. Using this packages, we can do selection and filtering of data. Okay, we can do data manipulation. So out of a set of data, we'll be sorting, grouping, and rearranging. Okay, we have to filter in the data. Say for example, if you have a set of data and if you want to choose, say for example, you are all handling students in your college. Okay, when you want to choose, for an event, some people, you will know that who you should choose, how you should choose for particular events. Okay, so knowing the caliber of the students, we generally choose who will be best to do this. Say for example, if you want to design a browser, you know this student will be better. So from that we do through manual. We do it manually. Okay, we do it manually. So how do we filter it? So if you have got 10 lakhs of data, that time we cannot apply a human minds to find which is better, which is not better. So for those kind of situations, we have worked in our research lab with more than 10 lakhs and 20 lakhs of data, and we have got the results at very less time, within seconds. Okay, and say for example, so selection and filtering of data is very, very important. What is the necessary data? Okay, because this COVID-19 is throughout the world. It's throughout the world. And how do we take the data? How do we manipulate it? How do we sort it? How do we group it? That is what we're going to see. And for plotting the data, Python gives many packages, right? Python gives many packages, out of which the best packages are, the basic package will be matplotlib. Okay, the basic package will be matplotlib, and today we'll be seeing about matplotlib. Seaborn, Seaborn, Seaborn is another package. The next level of package is called as Bokeh, Bokeh. Okay, these are the packages we'll be seeing, and we're going to do the statistics, how it has started, from which region it has started, and how it has spread throughout the world with the data set that we've taken from WHO for a certain period, as a date from Jan to April. Okay, we have taken from the data sets, and before going for any data analytics, data curation is very, very, very important before you start analyzing your data. What is data curation? It is called as data cleaning. Data cleaning is what, from the large amount of data, what is necessary for us, okay, what is necessary for us to for analysis, only those data we need. We'll curate, we clean the unnecessary data, we can drop it. And the second most important thing is that if you're going to have say for example 20 columns and 10 lakhs of row, if there are some missing columns, this will not be very useful for us to do analysis. So before starting an analysis, we have to curate the data. So curation is what we'll be removing the unnecessary data which is not needed for analysis. Okay, as an example, I can say for example, you're going to do the research analysis for your class, what you're handling for the semester. So if in your database, you'll have the name of the student, the register number of the student, the address of the student, the email of the student, then you'll have that group, then you have a semester marks. Okay, so when you're going to focus on the research analysis, the address of the student, the blood group of the student, okay, and what are the unnecessary details? These are unnecessary details. You need the register number of the student, the name of the student, and the marks the student has achieved. So for particular application, what data is necessary, what data is not necessary. should be clearly taken before going for analysis. So for result analysis, it's very clear and evident. I want only the register number of the student, the name of the student and the marks, the address, the blood group and other details we think it is unnecessary. So we'll remove the data. Okay, so that is data curation. Say for example, you have got 6 subjects, okay, for the marks, and if for a particular student the 2 or 3 subject marks is not missing, then the overall pass percentage, the average mark, everything will be differing from our marks. So missing value should be treated properly before going on with the data analysis. But very prominently from the WHO data, what I have taken for today analysis, they've given the entire data without much missing data. I will be able to show it to you. Okay, and we'll be seeing about the statistics. So these are the main packages we go for analysis. The first is NumPy, numerical Python. Second is SciPy, which is called a scientific Python. Third is Pandas. Okay, this is for Python for data analysis. And fourth is scikit-learn. Okay, so from the kits we'll be using, they're given for, if you're going to go for machine learning algorithms, there are multiple algorithms given. There are multiple algorithms given by the scikit-learn. We will be able to use it. Okay, if you're going to do a good research, you should have data sets like 50,000 data, 10 lakhs data, and 20 lakhs data to find whether the algorithm that you're going to try is fault tolerant or not. Okay, so don't try to take one algorithm, take one data set and try to come up, publish a paper. Okay, if you're doing a real research, you should try to work with different set of data which is of different sizes and then feed into 2 to 3 algorithms, and from which you will be able to figure out which for this application, which algorithm is the best. Okay, and for visualization, Matplotlib, Seaborn, Bokeh and many more. So starting with NumPy, it is used for multi-dimensional array and practices. Okay, lots of mathematical applications, like you should have learned about Laplace transform, Fourier transform, fast Fourier transform. So if you have worked with our engineering colleges, right, we would have learned a lot. Okay, and even when we studied mathematics, all these are given as packages NumPy. Only we should give a relevant data into it, so from which you'll be able to work on with NumPy, and it provides visualization of mathematical operations. Okay, and basically it is most of the data analytics works on NumPy. And SciPy is a collection of algorithms. Okay, it is a collection of algorithms. It is used for linear algebra, differential equation, numerical integration. It is mostly used for optimization of data, statistics, and more. And this SciPy is built on top of NumPy. All these are stacks. Okay, all these are stacks, and this is built on top of NumPy. Next, we'll be seeing about Pandas. It has a data structure called as data frames. Okay, it has a data structure called as data frames. So today, I'm going to take a huge data set of COVID-19. Okay, feed it into an application called as Jupyter Notebook. I'm going to use the application called Jupyter Notebook. Then the format that I've taken from WHO, the World Health Organization, of COVID-19 data. Then we have performed the cleaning of the data, and then we have saved the data in the format of .csv. Okay, .csv stands for comma separated values. .csv stands for comma separated values. Okay, it stands for comma separated values, and from which I will be taking the data, and then I'll be able to feed in the data into the Jupyter using Pandas. Okay, I'll be taking the data from CSV into Pandas. So the data type will be converted into a format called as data frame. Okay, it will be converted in a format called as data frame. So once I take my data and I put it onto my data frame, I can do reshaping, I will be able to do merging, sorting, slicing, aggregation, whatever it is. And more importantly, it allows me to handle all the missing data. It allows me to handle all the missing data. Okay, that is more important. Say for example, why do we go for reshaping, merging, sorting, and slicing? Reason, I don't know how many of you visit the website. Okay, visit the website and then you figure it out of the climate prediction. Okay, so then has any one of you have tried of climate predictions from websites? Yes, no, no, yes.
Yes,
Or you can put it on the chat session also. What are the parameters that you see? You can put it on the chat, both YouTube viewers. In the YouTube, we had made all the settings for screen sharing, but we had a problem on the buffering. That is what we have removed the screen sharing, and we have just given the video. Okay. Yesterday it was working perfectly, but today we had some issues on buffering. Okay. So there will be no screen sharing for the participants viewing through YouTube. Okay. Maybe in the end we'll be able to share the video recording to you. If you could send a mail to the coordinator, whatever you're presenting the screen, we'll be able to share it with you. All right. So when we have the recorded video will be shared to the participants viewing through YouTube Live. We have said I was presenting it and someone has taken over. Now you can start share. I'll share my screen with you. Okay. The content is the same. The PPT of mine doesn't contain more content. Okay. The main thing I just want to describe more about the concept so you'll be able to understand things more. Now you are able to see my screen. Thank you, Madan Mohan sir. Thank you. Yes. Okay. Okay. See, now I suppose most of you will be able to see my screen, which should be in Associate Dean. All right. I request the participants of Google Meet not to present your screen, please. All right. So we have seen the concepts of NumPy, which is called as numeric in Python. Okay. Next we saw about SciPy, which is scientific Python, which has worked. Still, you're not able to see my screen. You will be seeing academic dean presentation. You'll be seeing two associate dean. In one associate dean, you'll be able to see my video. On to the next, you'll be able to see my screen, which has your presentation. All right. Are you able to see my screen? My screen has just got a couple of all the participants. No, I have not shared my video. I have not shared my PPT or my presentation. Just have started. Only you can see what I see in my Google Meet. In my one, you'll be able to see only my face. Onto the other, the collection of. Yeah, thank you, Darshana. I don't know who's saying the screen is visible. Go to the people, find out associate dean, two associate dean will be there. In one, you'll be seeing only my video. Onto the other, you'll be able to see the collection of my a collection of participants who are viewing through YouTube. All right, now you can see how it has been presented, to the YouTube viewers. Okay, so so as I said to you, when you see for the climatic analysis, okay, the climatic condition, we predict it for the next 5 days or 7 days or for a month, which means we take a huge values of data from the satellite. Okay, your huge is a value, huge data from the satellite. So from which we'll do the slicing, merging, aggregation, grouping, and we know what is only necessary for us, what data is only necessary for us. Those data will be taken for us to find the wind, the precipitation, okay, the speed, the temperature, whether there is going to be a rainfall, or it is going to be sunny, or it is going to be a light shower, or it's going to be heavy shower. So when you want to go and slice and filter the data for those such things, these tools like NumPy, SciPy, Pandas are very useful for us, and scikit-learn is very useful for us to do the prediction. Okay, thank you. Now we will be seeing about the COVID-19 data sets. Okay, any doubts till now? If there is a doubt, just put it on the chat box on both YouTube viewers and Google Meet. I repeat it, for the YouTube viewers, you will not be able to see my screen. Rather, at the end of this webinar, we are recording the entire session, and we will be sharing the recorded video to you. All right. We had set it up with screen sharing, but it had some technical issues wherein we are not able to do it. Okay. So.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
So, ma'am, can you share your screen, ma'am?
Yeah, I've shared my screen.
Okay. Thank you.
I've shared. For Google Meet people, you will be able to see my screen.
Okay, madam. Thank you.
Ma'am, no illustrations, ma'am. Any illustration on your screen, ma'am? No.
I'm starting my package now.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, ma'am.
So to start with, first, I've taken the data set from WHO of COVID-19 affected people. Can you see my screen? Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So we are going to do the basic exploratory data analysis. Okay, how from the data, I've got the data and I'll show you the data, how it works. And we are going to see how many people have confirmed COVID-19 cases, how many people have died, how many people are active. Okay, and we'll be doing a multivariate study also, and we'll be using for visualization, we'll be using Plotly, Seaborn, and Matplotlib. Okay, now I'm starting. So this is the data of COVID-19. So we have taken the data set as told earlier. I'm importing the packages called as NumPy, Pandas, Matplotlib, Seaborn. Okay, and I'm making the maximum column size and maximum row size. Okay, and I'm using SNS, which is Seaborn, for visualizing, and Plotly for graph. I repeat, I'm using NumPy, Pandas, Matplotlib, Seaborn. These are the packages and Plotly graph. Okay. Plotly is used for.
And 1 minute. Font size can be increased, I think, ma'am, little.
Okay. You're using mobile or system?
No, laptop.
Yeah.
No problem. Ah, nice. Very nice. Good. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, enough.
Okay. And next, now I'm taking up the data, which is COVID-19 data set. Okay. It's a complete data set, and I'm just going to type the first, when I give df.head, it takes only the first 5 lines. So here I'm from the data set, I'm going to take from which country, which latitude and longitude. I know most of you will be working with Google Maps, where you will take, if you want to take a particular location, it takes the latitude and longitude, on which date. Say, for example, I'm starting from 22nd 1 2020. So from 22nd January, we have taken the data sets from WHO, how many confirmed case, how many death, how many recovered, until we have taken till April. Okay, the data set is from January till April. So the columns are province, okay, the country, the latitude, longitude, the date, the confirmed death and recovered. So DF shape, it tells me, so the entire data set that I have taken for this analysis is 22,008 rows and 9 columns. Okay, df.info, these are the data types that is allowed there. Okay, and then describe will tell me how far it is. Okay, how many count. Okay, for everything there is a count of 22, 22, 22,008, 22,008. So which means there is no missing data. So I'm going to take the first value of the date. Okay, I'm going to take the date, I'm going to sort the value, I'm going to know that from which dates I'm going to use it. So I'm going to start from 22/1/2020 till 14/4/2020. So the entire data set of 22,000 files are from 20, okay, from 22nd January to 14th April. The entire data set is from 22nd January till 14th April. And this is where I told you, do you remember I said using pandas we'll be able to figure out the missing values. df.isNull is sum of, will be finding out any null values. There is no null values, so I'm very strong to start with my data analytics because there is no missing values. Because the data, my data, if you see here, my header is like this, right? My data are like province/state, country/region, lat, long, date, confirmed death. So now I'm going to rename the columns, so which will be useful for me to do my visualization better. Okay. So I'm renaming my date, state, country, latitude, longitude, confirmed death, and recovered. So how will I be finding the active cases? Confirmed minus death cases minus, because my data set has got only confirmed death and recovered. So I'm going to take confirmed minus death minus recovered will give me how many active cases. Now moving on to the plotly graph here. So now you'll be able to see this describe. Okay. So now we'll start the visualization with plotly. Okay, visualization plotly. So worldwide spread. Okay, worldwide spread. I'll show you from the starting date. Okay, the starting date. You remember this data set is from 22nd January till 14th April. So here, using a different plotly graph, I'll be able to see from which country how it has started. The program is running. Okay, so this is I told we have done the coding for it. So the spread of COVID-19. So as I've given you the starting date is from 22nd January. If I'm planning to play this, okay, play this. So starting, as everyone knows, this was in China. As the dates are increasing, in China, it was 7:49, 7:50 on 22nd, and it started in Zamda. Then it started to sprint to San Mario, and then so Iran, Iraq. See, as the dates are keep on increasing, so I just move the slider to the end.
Hello.
As the days are increasing, yes, sir.
Ma'am, can you share the Python code?
No, sir, that will not be done.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, so this is how we have done it. And at the end, on 22nd, you can see 12, okay, the 12, 14, the entire world it has got. When I click on every place, you can see in Kenya for that date on 14/4, even in this is Sri Lanka, okay, in India, okay, when we go to US and see, it will be even more, okay. So every day on Canada, on that particular day, okay, confirmed cases on that particular day, the confirmed cases will be able to visualize it. So if I'm going to give you a data also, it will be very difficult for us to do, but once you have visualization, so I can know from the spread of the virus, which was very less, and as time progressed, it spread over the world. Now, how many active cases throughout the world, confirmed, active, and death cases, okay. So I'm just grouping. This function is used for grouping. I'm grouping my entire data set using the confirmed, active, and death cases. Okay, confirmed, active, and death cases. So this is how we have grouped the data for that entire data set. Okay, the next thing that we are going to do from the entire world, we have given the colors. Okay, the colors. We have given a peach color from a light to dark. Once the values are too dark, which means the number of cases in Canada it is 26,135 more cases, and in Brazil, in India we can see it was 9,735. Okay, when I keep, so from it that my data set was just like this. Okay, my data set is just this. If I'm going to insert a new cell, this is my data of 22,000 data. From the data, we'll be able to do visualization. So, for example, if I give you a data set of all my CSPs also, you'll not be able to figure out how many confirmed deaths and recovered, not only for COVID-19, for any other research purposes. Okay, it's running. Now you'll be able to see. I'll show you the entire data set and how we are converting these data sets into the visualization tools. As it runs, see, this is my data set. Okay, my data set that we've taken from WHO is like this. And from the data, we have just sliced it, grouped, taken only whatever data that is needed for us. Okay. So if you could see in the data here, so these are the data. Okay. Can you see here? These are the data. The first, we have my country, state, latitude, longitude, confirmed death cases. So these are the 22 rows. So every country, every place, the latitude, longitude, okay, throughout the world, Iran, Israel, Libya. So it's totally, my data set, it's 22,000. Okay. So I can show you the last few rows. Okay. Can you see now? It's 22,008. Okay. This is the final row. Amen. Okay, in a United Kingdom of on a particular country, how it is. From the data set, we will be able to do visualizations like this using Python. And next, are you able to see my screen? Yes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Thank you. So you have seen now, just I've taken a small data, okay, that is from WHO, and then we have done some curation, and from which we have taken the data set and done the visualization. And still there is more, I'll show you. For the YouTube viewers, I'll just say you try to understand. By the end of the session, we'll be sending the video to you. And this is how the recovery rate, that's a different map, and I've taken a base map from ArcGIS. So as I click on every dot in India, okay, the recovery rate is 1,359 in US, in China, see, 91 recovered. So whichever country I am going to place, everything is from the data set what I showed you, just 22,000 data, different views, okay. So this is about how we'll be able to do the recovery count of each country. Okay, now that's a first map is a different map where we will be able to see an animation. The next, it is like when I pan over, okay, then I'll be, when I click on each pink dots, I'll be able to find in Cuba, Venezuela, Colombia, okay, Peru. So how many of them have recovered? So I've taken only the data for recovery. The first data set here, it's only for active cases, and this is for the spread of COVID. So for each visualization, we have taken a different map so that it will be because we work on data visualization today. It's a different, so how many different maps are available for us to see? And now for the death count. See, in Netherlands, we have got 2,955 death count. You know, in US, it's the maximum. Okay. Only for those few days what we have taken till 14. Okay, and in India, 393 death. In Sri Lanka, it is 7. In Zambia, that's in Africa. In South Africa, okay, this is in Brazil, okay, and this is in Chile, and this is in Australia. From a specific data set, see how many kinds of visualization can be done using Python. Okay. Now we have seen the different maps. Okay, for next we are going to see how many confirmed cases. We'll be showing different plotly gaps that we can do. What we see now is like seaborne, and now we'll see about plotly gap. How many confirmed cases over time? So from 22nd January till 14th April, see how many confirmed cases worldwide. So you can see the graph is steadily increasing. Okay, the graph is steadily increasing from 22nd. It was number of cases throughout the world was very less. By the end of 14th April, it's too high. Okay, and then the top 20 countries which are mostly affected is US, Spain. Everything is from the data set what I fed in first. Okay, what I fed in first. So I've sorted it accordingly from the highest confirmed cases to the lowest confirmed cases. So US, Spain, Italy, and India. So it is the top 20. I'm just bringing it out. Now we are showing you the top 20 countries which has the most confirmed cases. This is when you have a visualization like with numbers and data, it is difficult for us to understand. So that is what Python is very strong in giving us a very good visualization. When you see this visualization, you can see how far US is affected more in comparison with Spain, and how the graph. So graph visualization is very important. Okay, even when we teach students using visual learning, they have a highest impact. Okay, they have the highest impact than what we do our rote level of teaching, right? Only with talk and other things. When we make them to visualize and teach, the students will understand the concepts more better. So Python provides you a different tool for us to explore with all the data sets. Okay, next the top 20 most active cases, and then again tops by US. Okay, and next we'll be seeing the most death. Okay, again the most death, it's from US, Italy, Spain, France. Okay, I've not changed anything. I've just taken the data set of 22,000 rows into some columns, and the data, see with the set of data how many kinds of visualization can be done. Okay, for this we should be strong enough to do the coding and how it works. Okay, and the most recovered cases, we know the most recovered cases in the world of COVID-19 is from China, then it is Germany, then Spain, and it goes accordingly. How many recovered cases? Okay, and now top 20 countries which has the most mortality and death recovery rate, and these are the countries, okay, the country and the death percentage, and so you can see from the graph. Can you keep your mics on mute? Somebody's mic on mute. And now I'm recovering it and grouping by country, please. Okay. Somebody's mic is on. There are mostly 128 participants, so it is difficult for us to figure out who. In Google Meet, kindly put your mics on mute. All right. And then we'll be seeing about the recovery rates. Again, a visualization of it. Okay, the most affected countries, the recovery, death, and confirmed rate. The first case recorded in Italy is on 31st January. So then they're changing that to day 1. Okay, the first case recorded in India is 30th January. So only in 30th January, the first recorded case in India has been started. Okay, the number of cases till date. Okay, the number of confirmed cases till date. We are comparing it. If you could see from the data set, from China, it was more and then it became steady. There was a high increase of COVID-19 cases, and then it became steady along the days. Okay, the days that we've taken from 22nd January till 14th April. In US, see, you can see there is a little control in China after some while, but in US it is steadily increasing. The number of cases are steadily increasing. In Italy also there is a great curve, which means it is increasing, and even in India. But once we see the curve from the data set we have generated from the WHO data set, we can see China has been, after there was a huge increase, and after that there was a good recovery rate. Okay, they are able to control COVID-19 spread. Okay, number of active cases also. Initially, they had more active cases. As number of days were increasing, the active cases became less in China. In US, it is increasing more. In US, it is increasing more. In Italy also, and in India. Okay, these are the observation. Number of death cases. Okay, we are going to see the number of death cases. In China, you can see it has been increased. After a certain time, it became steady. But in US, it is steadily increasing. In Italy, it was increasing, and in India. Number of recovery rate, again, we can know recovery rate. Again, China was recovered first, and US, the recovery rate is growing. Okay, it is growing. Okay, in Italy and in India. Okay, so from a simple data set of 22 rows, 22,000 rows, and a certain columns, 9 columns, see how much of data visualization can be done. So this, the basic things that we have done is the exploratory data analysis of worldwide. How do we take the data? So we have seen how many active cases, how many confirmed cases, how many recovered cases, how many death cases, using different plotly graphs, and also we have seen using different views. Okay, using different views of plotly and seaborn. So these are the views we are seeing. Okay, first we need to know about the data. That is what we do, a data analysis. Then we go to our visualization. First we started with plotly graphs. Okay, we started with plotly and different maps. We have seen 2 to 3 kinds of maps. Okay, and then we saw about the different plotting with matplotlib and plotly graphs, and we have seen how it has been done. So this data set has contains the entire world data. Now we'll show you only for India. Okay, from the data set, that is what we told. Now we can do a slicing operator, the different operator. We've done the slicing and taken only for India spread. Okay. So you are able to see my screen. Meet viewers, Google Meet viewers. You
Yes,
can
ma'am.
type it on the, yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So machine learning algorithm is basically we train the machine and the machine does what we tell the machine to do. Okay. Okay. And now okay. So we'll be seeing now about how from the data set of world, we are only going to take about India, okay, and India analysis, how it is to be done. Mhm. From an YouTube viewer, like Data Science with Pani, Pani sir has asked which is better for visualization, okay? Sir, basically, when you go for the first time of visualization, Matplotlib is okay. But if you want a better and innovative kind of visualization, Seaborn provides more functionality. Okay, Seaborn provides more functionality in comparison with Matplotlib. So for good visualization, Seaborn is better. So YouTube viewers can put your questions onto the chat session. So it will be easy for us to interact whenever you have some questions. Okay. Okay. Now, before it gets started, my company name is website is cirf.co.in. Okay, so I told machine learning is something that we train a system, and the system is able to figure out, and the system is able to. We don't directly get involved, but we make the system to do some work for us. Okay, the system to do some kind of work for us. We have done a Google Analytics. Okay, we have trained our website in such a way when viewers from different destination are going to view my website. Okay, still they'll be able to. I will be able to see from which place they are viewing my website. Now, I wish the participants, if you're using your mobile or in a YouTube viewer or a Google Meet viewer, it's not mandatory. Just can you open the company's website, www.cirf.co.in. I'll put it in the chat session of both streaming. Just click it on and then I'll show you the visualization. Okay. Which is better for data analysis or for a larger view, Python is better, sir. Like Shivakumar sir has asked, which is better. Python is more better, but more of mathematical details you can go for R. But I always suggest Python. Python is the best because I work with Python for all kind of applications. Okay. So one Dharani ma'am has asked which machine learning algorithm is the best. It depends. All the machine learning algorithms are the best, but it depends on your application and your data set from which you'll be able to figure out which data set is best. Like for a log, there is only a key, right? With only one key, we can unlock the key. Only with one key, we'll be able to unlock it. So the same way, we should need to train and test with the data sets and with set of algorithms, and from which we'll be able to figure out which algorithm is the best for that particular problem to be solved. We will not be able to generalize that this algorithm is the best. For some algorithms, support vector machine will be the best. For some, SDD will be the best. So for some application, more than machine learning, deep learning algorithms will be the best. So it depends on the algorithm. Is there anything for these type of apps this algorithm is better? Vijaya ma'am, you have asked for any apps. It depends. Again, for a particular application, which algorithm is the best, because some algorithm you've got classification, clustering, regression. Instant classification, you've got thousands and thousands of algorithms. But we need to do a literature survey and research, and you want to find what top learners, the average and the below learners, then we go for clustering algorithm. If you want to do some works with the stock pricing, which has a continuous varying data, then we go for regression. So for every kind of application, we need to figure out which would be the best. Again, it depends upon the data sets, so linear regression and logistic regression. Yes, Python is suitable for power system data analysis. Yes, it is suitable. It is suitable for power system data analysis. So which method is better to learn? Ma'am, can we draw decision tree using Matplotlib? Yes, you can draw decision tree using Matplotlib, using Seaborn, and even using Bokeh. So I will tell you how to, because it is some of them. Can you please tell, I need climatic related disease data set. Okay, there are different, whenever you take a data set, the most important thing that you should do, this is for the Google Meet viewers, one of them will ask the question, okay, you should always take a benchmark data set, okay, you should always take a benchmark data set. Can we use PyDA for visualization? You can use, but better is Jupyter. Okay, for visualization, Python is better. Okay, Pandas is available as Python 3, yes, it is available. Tableau is also good. You can integrate Tableau also into Python. Okay. Now I wish our participants to just go to my website, and you can drag in into different pages, and I will show from my page right now how many of you are viewing it. See, now I can see there are many people visiting my website. Right now, there are 75 people visiting my website, and 50% are using desktop, and 46% are using mobile, and few are using a tab. Okay, I'm not able to see you from where are you calling or from where are you viewing it. Okay, but still I can see there are active users in YouTube. Okay, from YouTube, 35 people are watching it, and some search through in search.yahoo.com. Okay, so I can see which are the pages, some training program, implant training, home, interns, people. Okay, and now I can see from Chennai, there are 48 users viewing this particular webinar, and from Tiruchi, there are 2 people, Madurai, there are 2 people. Okay, and I can say from Coimbatore, there are 7 people, from Tirupur, there are 2 people, and Salem, 3. Okay, and it keeps increasing. And I can see from Secunderabad, okay, there are 2 people, and from Hyderabad, there are 5 people viewing this current view. Okay, now a new person. From Nagarcoil, there are 2 people viewing this webinar. So see, I'm not with you at all. Okay, I'm not seeing you at all. But even from a distance place, because I've set my website and my algorithm is done in such a way, so wherever I am, wherever you are viewing my website, every day I get the analysis of people who are viewing my website. Okay, so this is a machine that is trained. Okay, this is a machine that is trained. Okay, so my view is that I don't do any kind of advertisements. But rather every day from this analytics, I'd be able to see from throughout the world how many people are viewing my website. Give your website once again. Yes, www.cirf.co.in. Okay. Can you send queries for analyzing the highly infected? Yes, we can do. A lot of queries can be done. Okay. You can also develop a web development using this. Okay. So to the most, for the visualization, Hadoop, NoSQL, why do we prepare Python? Yeah, for Hadoop, you can integrate Hadoop into this Jupyter. Okay. You can integrate Hadoop. I worked with Hadoop. I worked with both the master slave and also a single node cluster and the multi-node clusters. We worked with n number of data. I worked with the Hadoop with Java. Now we have worked with Python, and also we have worked with Spark also. So even I can integrate my entire Hadoop as an extra infrastructure into my Jupyter. Okay. So nice to see most of the participants asking a number of questions, which means you are with the track of data science. Okay. So if so now I'll see here. Okay. So if I click on my audience, okay, if I click on my audience, so in real time, because I clustered only till Nagarkoil, only I was seeing people who are from Nagarkoil, and everywhere, as people see, I will be from Dindigul, we have one person, and the number will keep increasing as you see the website. Okay, and if I click on my audience and check, and I can see the overview, I'll just show you how many people are viewing our website. Okay, I can see from which country. This is the analysis of for the past 7 days. Okay, from April 30 to May 6th. Okay, how many people have viewed my website, from which country. Okay, so I can see from United States, from Japan, from South Africa, Saudi Arabia, from Canada, from Switzerland, China, Colombia, France, and Mexico. I have not done anything, but still I'm able to see who are all viewing my website. And one of you had asked the question, how to learn about machine learning or data science. Okay, when you come to our website, we are launching a new course. Okay, it's a hands-on course. Okay, it's only limited for very limited members. It's a course called machine learning using Python. So whatever I told today about NumPy, SkyPy will be teaching you with my screen share, with your screen share. Whatever I work, you will be parallelly working along with me. Okay, you will be parallelly working along with me. And it's for Matplotlib, how to do Matplots, and we teach Seaborn. We teach you pandas, okay, how to do your analysis. And if you take a data set, then we'll take a data set and teach you how to classify it, whether he's a fraudulent person or it's a not fraudulent person. Okay, whether this particular person has got a disease or not a disease, is a diabetic or non-diabetic. And then we will be working with clustering. We have a set of data, how we're going to cluster the data, and we'll be working with the regression. These are the 3 topics we'll be seeing. And at the end of this course starts from May 11th to 15th. At the end of this course, each of you will be developing a live project on your own. Okay, each of you. So we started this registration. The registration is coming on. You can see the course fee and the registration. Okay. So if any one of you are interested, those are using YouTube, or if you're watching using Google Meet, if you want to start your career to be a data analysis and visualization or machine learning, this course is for you. Okay, this is one of the best course I could ever say that we share it, because this offer is only for the lockdown period. Okay, I've got a set of research scholars who come to my company. They come with a problem statement, and some research scholars are also here. And then we train them, and then they develop products on their own for their projects. Okay, as a faculty is not completing PhD is more important. It's for your career. It's for your career. Once we are strong in technical details, then we can go and stand strong before the students to speak. Okay, the one more course we are launching it from same 11th to 15th is for digital classroom. Okay, this is the 4th batch, I think so. Okay, and here we teach you from 11 to 15. Some of the participants of this digital classroom are also viewing. I could see some of the names in YouTube, and I could view some of the names. I could see some of the names in Google Meet also. Some of the participants have completed the digital classroom course, and now they're very confident to handle classes, because we don't know how long the lockdown will increase, and it may increase even furthermore. But as a teaching faculty, our vision, the background picture is what we have handled for the previous session. Okay. So we teach you about Google Classroom, how to take Jamboard, slides, form sheets, video lecturing, and Meet. And at the end of the course, each of the participants will do a demo class using all the tools that we teach them. Okay, so you can visit my website. This is the registration form. If you click on the registration form, you'll be taken to the form. If you are interested in joining, I highly recommend. If you are doing a research, or if you are a faculty, if you want to do an upgradation of your career, when you want to view your students, machine learning using Python is the best course for you. Okay, is the best course for you, and we will teach you how to take data sets and how to work on with that. Okay, the entire thing will be taught for a week. Okay, we'll be having it for 5 days. We'll be having it for 5 days. The registration are going now. So if you are interested, kindly do register it at the earliest. Okay, kindly do the registration at the earliest. If you go to, I will share, some of them are asking the registration link. I'll just send the registration link, and also I will share my mobile number and my email in the screen of both. Okay, I'm sending the registration link for both the machine learning course and also for the digital classroom. And also, if you have any of your friends who wish to do or learn about I'll put it on both YouTube and every information you can get it from my company's website, www.cirf.co.in. My mobile number, I'll put it for the WhatsApp YouTube viewers, 900-30-21355. If any one of you want to make a note of my mobile number, you can make a note of it, 900-30-21355. Mostly you can try to me to contact through WhatsApp, okay? To contact through WhatsApp, because even today I've got 3 more meetings to go. Okay, whenever you contact, I'll be there to help you out. Okay, I'll be there to help you out.
Thank you, madam.
Okay, and also I will show you, I think it should have been loaded by this time. So any other doubts you have? Google Meet viewers can speak. You can put in the chat also.
Ma'am, ma'am, do we need to install pandas separately?
No, no. During that course, I will teach you what package to install, the bundle, so from which everything will be able to access.
Okay.
Can you please tell me any of the good websites for getting your data sets?
YouTube viewers, if you have got any doubts, you can let me know. Yeah, we'll surely share the video for your reference. Okay. So thanks. So we started the session with for data analysis and visualization. We started. I recapped it. We started with NumPy, SkyPy, Matplotlib, Seaborn, and Scikit tools. Then we took the data sets from from January to April, and from a normal CSV, we saw how we are able to do plotly visualization of different maps. Okay, then we saw about Seaborn and different graphs that we have plotted and make us to analyze from a normal data set how long the visualization data analysis could be done. Thank you all for joining.
Very good afternoon to all. On behalf of Jerusalem College of Engineering, I thank Dr. Karin for sharing her knowledge to all the participants who have joined with us through Google Meet and Facebook, YouTube Live. Okay, we had some technical issues at the beginning of and it helps us to give the presentation to the YouTube resource also that unable to do it. Start the meeting by 30 minutes late, just extended uh, 30 minutes more. That is supposed to wind up the meeting at 12 o'clock. Now the time is 12, but we have not compromised the quality of the session, and Dr. Govinda has shared plus knowledge to all the viewers and participants. I'm very so happy that teachers are utilizing, and I'm excited to see the enthusiastic participants of teaching every teachers. We are all teachers, we are all teachers. We need to upgrade our stuff in order to. So this lockdown is not a real lockdown for teachers. So it is helping us to learn a lot, helping us to explore a lot, and we are learning a lot and exploring a lot. So kindly utilize this period. I wish everyone the best. At this juncture, I just want to thank our CEO, Madam Secretary Sir, and Principal Sir, for giving a wonderful opportunity to conduct this one day or 1 hour online on analysis and prediction of COVID-19 data set using Python. So thank you for joining with us. Thank you so much, Dr. We will see you some other. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So thank you for joining. Some of you have started responding to the WhatsApp now itself. So nice to see you all. For any doubts and queries, feel free to call us. The WhatsApp or the mail. Okay, I just post it up. Okay. So any other doubts you have? After we wind up the session. So thank you all.
Okay. With respect to the feedback form, I have given a link to all the registered participants. I will enable it today 1 o'clock. It will be live from 1 to 2 o'clock. See the automatic e-certificate. There is a restriction, and only 100 participants can receive automatic e-certificate per day. Here, the registration around 1,300 registration I have received. Minimum it takes 13 days. Okay, so don't get panic. You will get your e-certificate with the help of the link which I have provided. So don't say me, don't call me for your e-certificate. Automatically, you will get your e-certificate. If you because the number of email generated automatically will be 100. So kindly cooperate with me, and everybody will get your e-certificate. You have already registered, and you would have received your email. Okay. Enable it. Now it is not enabled. I have disabled it. I will enable today 1 o'clock and 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock. It will be available. And every day, 100, it will generate 100 participants. So, mainly, okay. So you may have a doubt that why the participant, why our coordinator and the resource person are sitting in the same venue during this lockdown period. It's now wondering that I want to tell you that the resource person is my beloved wife, the alumni of the same. Thank you, Dr.
Sir, excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, feedback form is not opening.
Yeah, it will. I have disabled it now. It will be enabled after 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you.
How will I enable it before attending the session? Okay, that's what I disabled.
Just now I have opened that. It shows that it's closed.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And you will get all the participants will get the YouTube, especially for the YouTube viewers. Don't get panic because you have seen only our visual. You have not seen any PPT, any other data set. We have recorded the entire video session, and the recorded link, the recorded video will be sent to mail ID to all the participants, the registered participants, for the kind information. And you can share